And then he dropped the bombshell. He said he liked effing around. You got to be a fool. You got to be a fool. Not only are you playing your entire self, then you are embarrassing your wife. Hey y'all, it's your girl Jane B, and this is seejanereacts. Welcome to my channel. Listen, we are still covering Married at First Sight, season 20, episode 12, Nothing Left on the Table. But before we get going with the review, definitely hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We are on our way to 2,000 subscribers. Definitely make a comment or leave a comment and put the thumbs up, okay? I already appreciate you because I know you're gonna do it, okay? So listen, let's go ahead and get started. So now the dinner continues, the group dinner continues, and Adam says that he had a great day. Marissa, not so much. So you already could tell just from the fact that he had a great day, that means that you're not in communication. Because how do you know your partner is not having a great day and you're having a great day? He said he can't be with a partner that doesn't share his hobbies and interests. And the table gagged. They're like, what? Everybody's like, huh? Because they know at the end of the day, it is compromise, especially when you marry somebody you just met, okay? So then Cameron says to Marissa, do you think you could deal with that? And she said, I'm willing to compromise on some things, but absolutely not. I'm not doing all those things that he needs for me to do. That is going to be a contentious bone in their relationship, because even if they make it through and they keep going, that's always going to be a sticking point. So Mecca jumps in and he said, we've been hearing a lot about Adam and all the things that he wants to do. And he says, do you think you can compromise and give Marissa what she needs as well? And then Adam responds that, he knows Marissa is the normal one. He's the one that's constantly pushing himself. And then Mecca says, is there a way you guys can compromise and, just try to work together? And Marissa said, that's what we're still figuring out. And my thing is, like, you have 3 weeks left. That's what you're doing? You still trying to figure that part out, and there's only 3 weeks left? So Tori and Felipe, Tori says that she is curious to know what an argument would look like because she knows that they're both stubborn. Now, Felipe says, they have 3 weeks left and he's about to make the biggest decision of his life, but he finds himself getting into situations and just want to run and making excuses on why he shouldn't be married to her. He says he subconsciously thinks of ways and reasons why he should be out. And meanwhile, the coaches on the sidelines gagging. They're like, what? Like, is this the right time to talk about this? He said he really wants to be certain because his single life was absolutely amazing. He said he was in control of everything in his life and it was easy and free. He said if he was asked today, he would say no to spending the rest of his life with Tori. Now, this is the crazy thing because the last time they had a group session, he said his answer would be yes. Cam has been the voice of reason all night. Cam jumps in and says, listen, you're not going to find better than Tori. So you might as well hang that up because she is the blueprint, okay, as far as he's concerned. And then Nick says, why are you on Married at First Sight? And he said, even though his life was incredible, it was still lonely. And then Tori chimes in. She said, Felipe has work to do and that's not my job. Now, mind you, the whole time when this was going on, Tori's like this. No expression, honey. She wasn't giving you anything. So she was like, that's him. I know who I am. I'm secure in who I am. That's something he needs to work out. She says she will not be carrying things that are not hers. Okay, I know that's right, girl. I know that's right. So Adam asked Felipe, so what are the amazing parts of your life that you don't think that Tori can provide? And then he dropped the bombshell. He said he liked effing around. You got to be a fool. You got to be a fool. Not only are you playing your entire self, then you are embarrassing your wife. He said he liked effing around. That's what he likes. Multiple people. You got to be a fool. Not only are you playing your entire self, then you are embarrassing your wife. He said he liked effing around. That's what he likes. Multiple people. So this whole time you got Mecca doing all the side effects. What? Get out of here. Oh, yeah. He is giving commentary, okay? And then Cameron turned around and said, listen, all of this ain't gonna last forever. You ain't Peter Pan. You will be getting older, okay? So all that fool-la-la you doing right now and running around and ripping up and down and being desirable, that's not always gonna be the case. So the group basically said that they just think he's self-sabotaging. And we learned that self-sabotaging is choosing fear over love. So then Michelle asked him, so are you just trying to chase passion? So then he says he's in a race to try to fall in love before decision day. He said if he falls in love, he is done, meaning he doesn't need to run around. I'm giving him the side eye on that one. Meanwhile, this whole time where he's talking his stuff, Tori's face is so unfazed. That is so good. I mean, she didn't even put on a micro expression, nothing. She just, while he's saying all kinds of nonsense. I know that's right, girl. So then Mecca joins in and he says he fears commitment. He said it is scary. But then he said after their group last session where he said he was undecided about Belle, he said if that question was to be asked of today, he said my answer may change. He said because after spending so much time with her and talking with her and having conversations with her and just enjoying life with her, he said, why would I say no? That would be crazy to say no to her. And the group was like, oh, you know, they was loving to hear that. He said he has done a lot of self-reflection. And then Belle joins in and she said, you know, she was not a fan of the dogpiling that happened the last time they were together because he said, I don't know if you noticed, but I left feeling really down. She defended Mecca and she was like, Mecca was not being performative. He's just animated. He's that way, you know, with you, without you, with cameras, without cameras. This is really who he is. So then Michelle joins in and she apologizes because she was one of the main ones that said he was being performative. And then Mecca was like, Michelle, you were the one, you know, you're the one I think is just so down to earth. And he was like, dang, even Michelle? And she just said, well, hey, you know, maybe the drinks was flowing. But she did apologize and I did appreciate that. So then Nick applauded them and he definitely applauded Belle and just loved how, you know, she stands up for him and how they stand up for each other. And then Devin was on the side like, because Devin knows he ain't getting that, okay? So then Nick and Courtney said that they are working on their intimacy and, you know, she's doing little things for him. I call it crumbs, like, you know, giving him a hug and, you know, things like that, giving him a kiss and taking the time to be just a little bit more affectionate with him. So the coaches are listening in and they do like the fact that Nick is, you know, talking that way about her. But then they said, but can she talk that way about him? She says that she does realize that this is a partnership and she have to put more effort in because I get the feeling that a lot of the people don't realize it's two people. I get that with Adam. I get that with Caitlin. I get that with Courtney. It's like you're married to someone and it's not just about you anymore. Now, granted, this is a crash course, okay? This is a crash course to see if this is gonna work because we know it's an experiment. But it's not just you, it's the other person. And so Courtney is recognizing that, you know, I realize that it's not just me. And she said if she wants her independence, then she knows she has to make sure that he's happy. And I'm glad that she came to that revelation. And then Caitlin chimes in like, ooh, Courtney, we gotta talk because I need some tips. Because, you know, Caitlin ain't doing nothing. Caitlin ain't doing no reciprocation, okay? So then Mecca joins in and Mecca was like, well, Courtney, I have a question because there was a time when we were at dinner and your back was completely to Nick. You know, he said you were completely closed off to Nick. And then he said he never saw a connection on her behalf. She says she does like Nick and she's making a lot of changes, but then Nick is not doing anything. And, you know, the old Courtney came back out. That's why I was saying people think because they had that one good day or, you know, 2 good days, that's good enough. No. Constant counseling, especially if you want to be together, because those old habits and old ways are going to raise their ugly heads. She turns to Nick and was like, Nick, I don't know what you're doing. You know, I feel like it's like she's keeping score. A lot of these couples, I feel like, are keeping score. Like, okay, well, I did this. Now, what you gonna do now? As opposed to just being like, this is what we want. We just want to make each other happy. And of course, everything is under the umbrella of we just met. You know, so I understand that's not gonna be an automatic thing, but right now, that's where they are. It's very scorekeeping. It's very one up. You know, I did this, then what did you do? You did this, then what did I do? You know, that kind of thing. Nick tells Courtney, you know, he's sharing more of himself on an intimate level and it was about to escalate. And then they both just said, we'll talk later. So that was good that they de-escalated that situation and didn't let it go on and they could resolve it when they have private time. So Cam and Michelle talk about their relationship. Cam says he feels like he is in a better mood. He said he's a better coach. He said he's definitely thinking about moving to Seattle once the season is over. She said he makes an effort and she said it's so special. He said he's not going to give up his dream of coaching basketball, he said it just looks a little different now, because now he recognizes I'm in a partnership. So I can still have my dreams, but I have to see how can I make it work with us. He said, you know, you could have it all, but if you don't have anyone to share it with, then it's nothing. Because he said he won a championship and he came home and he didn't have anybody to share it with. So he wants to incorporate his dreams with hers. So then Devin and Caitlin chime in. And so I have to tell you, Devin looks like he is such a wounded puppy. You could see that let me tell you, the spark that he had on their wedding day, when he came out and he was just like looking good with his sunglasses. We ain't even seen them sunglasses no more. Them sunglasses was on the top of his head and he came out with all the confidence. Now he's just sitting at the table looking dejected. He said they are lacking physical and emotional connections. He said they're not even friends and he wonders, does she even like me? Even the coaches said she's just really not into him. She says that she feels like she is being shat on. I feel like Caitlin does not take any accountability. So then Michelle just chimes in and said, Caitlin, do you like Devin? She says she thought they were in a good place, but she's not looking at his needs. He said he really likes her and he likes the way she shows up for her friends, but he said he's not feeling that and that this is not his ideal marriage. And then Tori chimes in and says, it's okay to accept the fact that you're just not into someone or that you're moving at your speed. She said, there is no fault. You are allowed to be human. That dinner was serious. They really get good with those questions. And that it's good because they're all married and they're all in this experiment together. They can really go at each other and they can really come with those hard questions because they're asking the same hard questions of each other. And they're not holding back. And I love that. So now Tori and Felipe. Tori says she's cool. She just wants respect, honesty, and monogamy. She can't get that, then this is not for her. So then Felipe says, do you question if I could be monogamous? Well, listen, Felipe, after that whole I like to F girls comment at the table, I guess she would feel that way. And then Tori says, well, if you have to ask that question and you had all those questions, then I would worry. And then she had to let him know, listen, what's in front of you won't be here forever. Basically, she's saying all of this here, all this love I have to give, that's not going to be here. If you out here talking about, I got to be with this one, I got to be with that one. She said, you're going to have to figure that out. She told him, she said, I can't do the work for you. You're going to have to figure your own shit out. So in her ITM, she says she still has hope, but it is not her job to try to figure out or try to get someone to be into her. But right now, he doesn't know. So now Devin and Caitlin are talking. And of course, Devin apologizes. That's the name of his game. I'm going to say what I got to say, and then I'm going to apologize. And then Caitlin says, I just feel so difficult to be loved. So Devin said, you know, when people ask her, she always says how good he is to her and, you know, all the things he does, but she doesn't show him. He said that when they're in front of the cameras or when the cameras are there, or I guess people are there as well, you know, she really knows how to turn it on. Devin says he has never felt rejection like this. Devin says he and Caitlin should be the ones to break up because she's just not into him. How many times can I say that? She does not like this man. So Nikki and Sean are on their way to Bremerton to visit his home. So now they're, you know, he's making all the disclaimers about, you know, okay, so when it's not absolutely amazing, this is why kind of thing. So they get to his home, and when they go in, Nikki was surprised because she was like, wow, I was expecting different, because, you know, people show one thing on the outside, but a friend of mine's mom always said, if you want to know somebody, follow them home. And so when she went in and she saw it was like in disarray, there was really no food in the fridge, you know, all the things, it was kind of like, okay, this is what's going on here. She was really surprised about that. So Sean says Nikki is showing up as the wife he's been waiting for. Sean, you are never beating the allegations of wifely duties. You really have in your mind the roles of a woman, the roles of a man. Nikki let him know, I will not be living here. We will not be living here. Okay? She said he's so put together on the outside, but where he lives doesn't reflect that. So now they're going to visit Nikki's home. So Nikki owns her home. She says she's owned it for the past 2 years. Her home is nice. She gives him the tour. It's really nice, very clean, very put together. Very simple, nothing crazy, but it's really, really nice. So then Sean has the nerve to say, now you ain't beating the sassy allegations either, Sean. Sean has the nerve to say, you know, I see that Nikki is like the bougiest amongst her friends, but he's been around bougie too. So, you know, he's been to places. So, you know, like her home is okay, but it's not all that. Who says that? And what man says that? Men don't even usually care most of the time. I mean, unless they just really, you know, whatever. But most men don't even care like that. So for him to actually be comparing, you are real corny for that, Sean. He is comparing like, oh, he's in competition with her. Sean is in competition with Nikki. He is. Because why would you even feel a way about her being bougie? Why is that even a thing for you? And to actually say, yeah, her place is okay, but I've been to more bougie, but your place is not nice. Your place is not amazing. Okay, we went to where you live, where you lay your head, where you pay your bills, not your bougie friends' bills, okay? We go to where you live. So this is where Nikki lives. This is her place where she pays her mortgage and she does her things, and it's better than your place. So you're in competition with her, and that's very whack, son. Nikki's saying no too. So Michelle and Cameron head to Portland to visit Nick's place. It's a very simple place. It's very man cave coded and, you know, has lots of plants. So Marissa and Adam meet with Dr. Lisa. And Marissa tells Dr. Lisa how she had a bad day. And then Adam says he wonders about their compatibility because she's not into pickleball. How many people really are into pickleball? And then Lisa asks Adam, why are you always on a level 10? What are you running from? He says his personality is all or nothing. He said that his father always wanted perfection. And then Lisa said, well, does your partner need to raise to that level of intensity? And then he said, yes. Now, at this point in the conversation, Marissa is completely checked out. You can look at her. She is glassed over. She's paying attention, but she's not even connecting with what he's saying right now. She said that she is being compared to his ex. And then Lisa asked her, well, do you want to be in this kind of situation? She says she has been stressed with anxiety. She says she struggled with anxiety as a kid and depressed as a teenager. She said not being able to do the things that she likes to do is giving her anxiety. And she's having trouble communicating. And then Lisa said that Adam ignites a lot of her triggers. Dr. Lisa said, you are married to your core trigger. That is crazy. Adam says that he has to compromise, but he won't be satisfied. Ew. Run, Marissa, run. Marissa told him, well, I'm not going to be keeping up with your level of intensity. That's just not her. Adam said he likes her and he knows he can't change her. And he wants to see if they can compromise. Dr. Lisa tells Marissa she does not want her to lose her voice. And then Adam said, I won't let her. Michelle and Cameron now goes to Cameron's parents' house. They're out of the country and they go to his old room. He said his first kiss was on that bed with the girl named Michelle. So this is his first, this is a full circle moment for him. They talk about life beyond the next 3 weeks and how they definitely are each other's person and they're looking forward to life beyond the show. So now Tori is in her ITM. She says she is tired of Tori keep telling her how much he likes her. She says they have chemistry, but then she was like, why are you going through this process if you're thinking about cheating? And then Felipe says he thinks that they're good. He's delusional. Tori says she needs space because she don't have no time to be coddling him about his ways and his cheating ways and all the things that he may or may not do. This episode was crazy. It was very intense, very eye-opening, but we are here for it. So if you made it this far, definitely leave an orange heart in the comment section. I appreciate you so much for being here as we're on this Married at First Sight journey. Okay, so don't forget to do all the things, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and all the things we need to do to stay in touch. Okay, so until the next time, peace.